Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did It Work? My name's Nina, and today we're doing another Ayesha Curry recipe as promised. This one is her Mama Alexander's brown sugar chicken. This is again from her same cookbook, The Seasoned Life, Food, Family, Faith, and the Joy of Eating Well. This recipe comes from page 132. So I'm confident this is going to work because I have faith in Ayesha Curry. And I need something to go right because preseason started and the Chiefs did not start off well, but that's okay. I'm from Kansas, right next to Missouri. Kansas City Chiefs, that's our hometown team as well. So I've repped them since I was born. I will continue to. So it's preseason. I come to find out I'm the only one that watches it anyway. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing it says is to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Let's do that. Okay. Next, it says season chicken with salt and pepper. It calls for 4 chicken legs. That means both the chicken drumstick and the thigh. So 4 of them, I have that. Season it with kosher salt and freshly ground pepper. My fresh ground pepper. And this is my kosher salt. I am just generously seasoning this. It doesn't actually give me an amount, so I'm just going to make sure that this has seasoning on it. I am going to have to wash off my containers after I finish seasoning because, as you've seen, I've touched the raw chicken and picked this back up, so I don't want to do any cross-contamination. So when I'm done with this, I'm going to set it in the sink because that's got to remind me to get my Clorox wipes and completely wipe those down so I don't do any cross-contamination. So I'm going to finish seasoning these, and then we'll be back with the next step in this recipe. Now I have finished seasoning, so here's my Clorox wipe. I'm going to take this. I already washed my hands with soap and water, and I'm going to wipe the surfaces of that down, put it away, and do the same thing with the salt. I don't want to leave that raw chicken that I touched on there. So make sure you do that. And I'm going to put this thing away as well. Okay, so next, in a 5.5 quart or larger Dutch oven or a heavy oven safe saucepan, I'm going to melt the butter. So I forgot to show you guys that I have all of my ingredients set out. So I did not show you that before I started. So I'm slipping a little bit today. So back to this 5.5 quart. You can see mine back here. Have a lid for it. I'm going to take it off. My 1 tablespoon of butter with my olive oil over medium heat. So medium heat. I'm going to put that in there. So now I have my butter, olive oil over medium heat. Now it says working in 2 batches. I want to brown the chicken until golden brown, about 5 minutes per side, and then transfer onto a plate. So let me get my plate so I'm ready. So here's my plate. I'm going to set it over here so I can transfer it on there. And I'm going to move you over here so that you can see me work. Okay, so I've got my butter and olive oil heating up in my 5.5 quart Dutch oven. Okay, so I'm now adding my chicken in here. It says in 2 batches because you don't want to overcrowd it because you want this skin to brown. So I'm putting the skin side down. so I can get it in there. And I'm doing 4 pieces at a time because I have 8 pieces. Okay, so while I'm browning the chicken, I'm going to go ahead and read the recipe to see what else I need to be doing because I know there's a lot of prep work to be done. So while my chicken's browning, I want to move on. So I'm going to chop my shallot up while I'm waiting for that because I need about 2 tablespoons of shallots. Minced. I said chop. It asked for minced shallots. So I'm going to mince these. Okay, so I have these minced right now, and anytime after I finish mincing something, I just run my knife back through it like this just to get any pieces that I might have missed and get them a little bit smaller. Optional, just something that I do while I've got time browning my chicken. Then I'm going to measure this out and make sure I have 2 tablespoons, 1 teaspoon. Hear that chicken just a popping back there, can't you? So 2 teaspoons, and I have some left over. Wonderful. 2 tablespoons. I have been saying teaspoons. I mean tablespoons this whole time. 2 tablespoons. I'm flipping my chicken over. Get that nice brown color I have on there. So that's good. So it also calls for 3 cloves of minced garlic. So here's my cloves of garlic, and I'm going to go ahead and mince those. I got it laying here, flat and crunch. So get my aggression out right there. And then I'm just going to run my knife through them, and I'm going to mince these. I'm doing this while my chicken is frying, so I have time to do this. You can also use the grater to do this, but it said minced and not grated, and so this is what I'm doing. I'm going to check on my chicken again to see where I am with the brownness of it because I just want it brown. That's all. It's got to cook later in the oven. So I took my first bunch out and I'm putting my second batch in. Okay, so I started my second batch of chicken. I took out the first batch and put it on a plate as instructed. And I just came back to do some more mincing on my garlic. Uh, Again, I've got 10 minutes because it's 5 minutes each side approximately until brown. And you brown it to your likeness of browning, not mine, but your likeness of browning. I've got 3 cloves of minced garlic, so I'm going to take these and put them in my little container. And then the last preparation that I need to do is about 1 heaping tablespoon of minced fresh ginger. I'm just going to cut this thin and then run my knife through it while my chicken is frying. So I'll see you in a little bit. Now I will say the smell of these fresh ginger and garlic is just absolutely wonderful. The aromas coming off of this is second to none, really. It smells great. Okay, so I'm going to check my chicken now to see where I'm at. I've got nice minced garlic here. I'm going to show this to you. Nice minced garlic there. Very nice. And so I'm going to check my chicken. It's been about 5 minutes or so. All right, so I turned my chicken. I am happy with the mince on this, so I'm going to go ahead and move it into one of my containers. Use my little, I don't know what this is called, a scraper. It gets it all in one big boom and scrape it in there, and maybe you aren't like me and you actually miss. So if you do, you just take it right back up and put it in there. And I'm going to set that there. Now, everything else is prepped, so it is now a waiting game. So I will see you when the chicken is brown. Okay, so my chicken is done. I have it browned to my liking, and I'm taking it out and I'm putting it on a plate. And if you can see, my plate is over here, and I have it lined with a paper towel, and that's just to kind of absorb some of that extra grease. So let's figure out what's next in our recipe. It wants me to pour off all but 1 tablespoon of the grease that's in here. You can see in here there's not a whole lot, but there is some. So I just got my tablespoon, and I'm measuring out a tablespoon. I took it out in 2 halves because I couldn't get one in a whole. And then I'm going to drain the rest of the grease and then put the tablespoon back in. That's the easiest way for me. If you're asking me what I'm putting the grease in, I'm just putting the grease in one of these. So I'll be right back. This is all the grease that I drained off. And here's my 1 tablespoon that I'm putting back in there. So what's next? Pour off all but 1 tablespoon of the fat and return the Dutch oven to the medium heat. Saute the shallots until translucent, about 1 minute. So the smell on these is so good. Oh my gosh. So, and then about halfway through, it wants me to add the garlic. So I've got probably about 15 more seconds to be about halfway through. So, yes. So, everybody out there watching, who's your favorite football team? I am a football fan. Oh, we've already talked about it earlier. Who's your favorite football team? I'm wanting to see if Chiefs can do a three-peat. So, a lot of weekends you're going to hear me talking about these Chiefs. Okay, I'm adding the garlic. Here's my garlic that we prepared earlier. Sauteing it. I am getting a translucent color, but you see it's picking up a lot of the color off the bottom of my pan. So it's really hard to see that it is actually translucent because of that. So I'm just going to keep on stirring for a little bit. Okay, actually I'm done stirring. So next, I'm going to add my chicken broth. So I've got my 3/4 cup of chicken broth and still on medium heat. And it says to add chicken broth and bring to a boil, dislodging any caramelized bits from the bottom of the pan. Once you put this in here, it's going to instantly start dislodging the caramelized bits on there, and you're going to get this nice, beautiful brown color from that, as you can kind of see in there. So I've got my wooden spoon, and I'm just literally scraping the bottom of this pan. When I put the liquid in at first, you clearly saw it instantly was kind of boiling because the pan was so hot. And it's calmed down a little bit once the liquid neutralized. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to wait until this stuff, oh, look at this. It's starting to come to a boil. But I'm going to make sure I have all of the caramelization off the bottom of that pan. So while I'm doing that, what's next? So I'm going to read. Add the chicken broth and bring to a boil, dislodging any caramelized bits from the bottom of the Dutch oven to maximize flavor. And she says, I'm hungry already. It smells wonderful. Stir in the soy sauce. I moved my ingredients to over here so that I could actually have them within arm's reach. I was boiling, so I went ahead and put in my soy sauce. I made a mess. I got to clean it up. 2 cups of packed dark brown sugar. It's a lot of sugar for me, but I'm sure it's got to taste great. And the ginger. That is all of my ingredients, guys. So we have got all the ingredients that I had set out. We have now used them. So simmer to dissolve the sugar and thicken the sauce slightly, about 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm going to do this for about 3 to 5 minutes, and I will be back. Okay, it has been 5 minutes. You can see I've been doing dishes while I was waiting so I can get a jump start on my cleanup. I've got a nice simmer on here. You can see it. So I'm going to move on. So put the chicken back in the Dutch oven, skin side up. This is going to be nice. Now, I will say you can buy chicken that has the chicken and the thighs that are still together, and that would work absolutely perfectly. Um, for me, I don't like mine that way because it's too big of a portion. So I purposely got mine to where it was already separated. So I didn't have to worry about doing it later. So still using exactly what she wanted me to use, but you can buy them together so it's a little bit less. So what's next? And cover with a lid. Here's my lid. Bake for 30 minutes. I'm going in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to turn my fire off. And in the oven we go. Oh, God, it's heavy. Be careful. Okay, so I just turned the timer off, and I'm going to go back to the recipe to see what it says. It says, bake for 30 minutes, which we did. Remove the lid and bake until the chicken is nearly falling off the bone, about 30 minutes more. Test a piece by piercing it with a fork to see if the meat pulls away easily. So looks like all I'm going to do is let you see what my chicken looks like right now. And we're going to set the timer for another 30 minutes. So here we go. Sorry, I took the clip out of my hair, so my hair is falling in my face. Reveal. That's what the chicken looks like right now. So I think it's looking good. It smells wonderful. So see you in 30 minutes. My alarm has gone off again. So I'm going to check to make sure it's easy to pull apart with a fork. So let's check and see what we got. Has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful color on it. All right, here we go. Piece of chicken. Oh, easy fall off. I'm taking it out, and I'll see you at the tasting table. Okay, I'm excited. I'm at the tasting table. This is the picture in the book. See that? Nice dark caramelization on there. And this is what we have. Now, hers looks a lot better in the book than mine does. Hers has a lot darker of a color to it than mine does. Let me go ahead and plate a piece. I'm going to eat a leg. So here we go. Her piece versus my piece. Hers is a lot darker. That could be because the brown sugar that she used could have been darker. It looks like she actually let the sauce thicken more than I did on the oven top. So I probably should have let it, there's a word for that I'm not getting, but I should have let it thicken up on the stovetop a little bit more before I put it in there. But that's my bad. That's not her bad. So I had to check my mic, make sure it was on. So far, this is looking good. Okay. So far, this is a success. This is working so far. So here's the taste. Look, you see how easily that fell apart? Let me do it again. Watch this. Watch, give you a different angle. Watch. Oh, that was beautiful. That's fall off the bone, what she wants. I'm not going to eat the skin So right off the bat, there's a couple of things I would have done differently. One, I would not have cooked mine with the skin, so we could have skipped the browning part of that altogether because I don't eat a lot of skins of my chicken, and if I do, it's got to be fried. So that's the first thing I would have changed without tasting it because I generally don't eat the skins of the chicken. So, first taste, here we go. Second thing I would have changed, that's a lot of sugar. 2 cups of brown sugar. I would have not have put that much sugar in it. I would have figured a different way. This is really good. This is hot too, by the way. This is a success. This worked. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that Ayesha suggests that you eat this with jasmine rice. So steam some rice and put it next to some jasmine rice and take these juices and put on top of the jasmine rice. And I think that would be a wonderful, wonderful idea. Um, I actually would do this with a mashed potato and use those juices on top of that mashed potato because, as you know, I don't eat gravy. So this would be good for that for me as well. Redemption has happened. This worked. This is really good. Sorry about the scrape on that plate. That just drove me crazy too. This worked. I really love this. I said the only thing I would change, I would take off that skin and I would find a way to reduce the amount of sugar, whether that means I substitute in honey or agave. I would do that in order to not have so much refined sugar in there. Other than that, Mrs. Curry, this is wonderful. I love it. I'm going to eat it all up. So, until next time, cook from your soul, love with your heart. My name's Nina. Remember to like and subscribe.